Welcome to Edu-Tech. Welcome to Series 2 on Institutional Perspectives to Comparative Human Resource Management.
Government creates central plan that guides the economy. Central plan that guides the economy. There is price control, but you can see the Nigerian model. Price control is not effective. It's not even. It's non-existent. That was, I remember, in the period of either Gowon or Obasanjo. So, the price control board was very effective. There were price tags on products. Everybody, the public knows what this particular product, the cost of a particular product at a very given time. And if you default, there is a penalty, a task force that will make sure that you obey the rules, you comply with the rules. Transportation and manufacturing sector exist in this mixed market economy, owned by people or group of people. You have manufacturing sector. It is what grows this economy, manufacturing sector. Manufacturing sector is prominent in small-scale businesses where people can produce, soap industry, hair making, barber shop, and small businesses in mixed market economy. And this boosts the economy of the country or the nation that practices this type of economy. It protects private property. Yes, the economy protects private property because it is capitalist oriented. People will not want to invest money, and then people will go and destroy it, and there will be the environment. There is no conducive environment for business to thrive. So protection. There are laws that protect property, private property. But in a country where the people's property are being ignored, people can just go and set buildings ablaze. There are cases of stories. There are cases of buildings. Stories where buildings are set on fire, public buildings, including individual companies and the rest of them. It is not a new thing in Nigeria. That private property is not protected. And that is why, one of the reasons why we don't have foreign investors. When there is no conducive environment that will attract investors, they will not come to invest their money. And so that is one of the features, a very important feature that the mixed market economy exhibits.
Recording in progress.
Allows free market economy. Free market allows free market economy. The laws of demand and supply, like I said, also, is prominent here. The laws of demand and supply, but it is at the discretion of the people. If a particular product is a certain amount of money, a fixed money, they overlook for profit. They maximize profit. That is the problem with this economy. It is not regulated in theory, it may, but in practice, it is the different problem. The Nigerian model is exemplified in the 1986 Structural Adjustment Program, which exhibits the characteristics of a neoliberal market economy. A neoliberal market economy is an economy where the government is fully involved. Government privatize, public companies, they regulate the economy, increase fuel pump price. There are no substitution. The policy substitution is not given adequate attention. Fiscal and monetary policies to control inflation, reduction in the public expenditure. There is tight inflation in neoliberal market economy. It is evidence that Nigeria's economy can be described as a blend. You can see, you don't know where you classify Nigerian market economy, whether it is mixed, transitional, or neoliberal. You can see the three manifested in this aspect. So we can conclude that the Nigerian market economy is not clearly defined. It's not well defined. We cannot say unequivocally that Nigerian market economy is a mixed market economy or is transitional. You can remember if you watch the trend of events, Nigeria started developing along with within China, India, but today China has gone ahead. China is no longer a developing country. China is a second, it's not a third world country, it's a second world country. It's even a first world country when you begin to look at the way they are prospering their economy. The economic growth and indices, confirm that China, I remember China was, China was population-wise, China is very great in population. And a country that is highly populated without adequate economic growth to support it, it will fall into inflation. China was inflation. China was inflation for so many years before the Messiah visited them and gave them good leadership. And today, China is a very world-class economy. The same thing is applicable to India. India was developing country along with Nigeria. But India, you cannot talk about India. You cannot classify India as a third world country. No, India is ahead of Nigeria. What of Malaysia? Malaysia that came to Nigeria and stole our palm seed. Today, Malaysia is the world producer of palm oil and palm kernel. And that is where they derive, where they get their gross domestic product. That nation is fast growing. But Nigeria is still developing. We are still talking about developing Nigeria. Let's develop Nigeria. Let's develop Nigeria. Developing country. There is no way you can't even say that Nigeria is a second world country. No, because it doesn't exhibit such features. Now, after we have done all this, looked at the varieties of capitalism, the three of them, we tried to compare, the HRM practices that are, derivable from the description we have and the features they have exhibit. And what are the likely features? What are the likely practices that are influenced by these market economies? And we compared Nigeria, USA, and Japan. You can see page 57 and 58 of your lecture note. We differentiated, we compared the practices. We compared the human resource, recruitment and selection practices in Nigeria. Recruitment and selection. We compared it on page 50, on page 57. If you go to page 57, you see the comparison, how we compared it. Nigeria is selective. Recruitment and selection in Nigeria is selectively done. It is selectively done and determined by managerial decisions and referral. Managerial decisions and socio-economic, socio-political connections. If you don't have connections, you cannot. It is difficult sometimes for you to get a good employment. But in the United States and Japan, which are coordinated market economy, the recruitment selection practice they call shukasu in Japanese language operates. It is popularly a situation that exists in where workers are highly screened. In the US, it also involves selective hiring of new workers and minimal screening is involved. But in the Japanese system, it involves the recruitment of fresh graduates. The recruitment of fresh graduates, which is popularly called. You can look at it in your lecture notes and see that comparison. Compensation, the same thing. We compared compensation practices. Compensation practices, like we had also in our previous lecture. In Nigeria, compensation is based on grade, status differentiation. The level of your grade determines how much you get. You have salary structure in Nigeria. We have salary structure. A certain level of amount is paid to a certain status. We also have incentive method. We have individual method of incentive. We have group method of incentive. Individual method of incentive. We have group individual method bonuses, and some perks. Group incentive. We talk about profit sharing and other forms of group incentive schemes. Training and development. In the US, in compensation in the US, it is performance rated payment. You pay as you receive, as you work, as you perform. Performance determines how much money that is paid. In the Japanese system, it is usually a group payment. In Japan, payment is based on promotion. Compensation and promotion are based on performance and seniority. Training and development is a bit slow and very expensive to invest in human capital in Nigeria. Training, generally, organizations run away from training because training is very expensive. Most of the organizations see training as a cost rather than as an investment. They are afraid if they are trained, you may not remain. That worker may not remain, may not stay because he has been equipped with training. And so he becomes a high flyer. People may poach that worker from where he has received his training. And so organizations look at it with mincing eyes, to reserve training for those that they are sure that after training, they will remain. They will stay and work and perform so that the return on investment will be recovered. And so that is applicable to training. In the US, training is decentralized to company level, highly innovative. Training is vocational. Vocational training is paramount, is key in US method of training. Vocational training, innovative training, Whereas in Japan, training methods include also vocational training and the use of job rotation. Job rotation is a method of training. Training is very, very important in every organization. Most of the organizations resort to job rotation. They prefer job rotation to any other method of training because of its expensive nature. Performance appraisal. We compared performance appraisal across the three countries, Nigeria, USA, and Japan.